Summertime is the right time for taking road trips. Whether you're taking a day trip or loading up the car for a cross-country adventure, you gotta have some tunes. On today's episode of Prisoners of Rock and Roll, we put together the ultimate road trip playlist. We're gonna play some songs, share some insights, and talk about some great music to check out while on the road. We want to put the windows down and the radio up. Let's go.
Yeah. Life I love is making music with my friends. And I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Prisoners of Rock and Roll, episode number 22, The Double Deuce.
Yeah.
I am Bruce Kramer. I'm here with two people who need no introduction because their name is on the sign outside of the bar where we are recording this episode, Mr. Ryan McCusker and Mr. Doug McCusker.
Get your kicks on Route 66.
Are you rocking out there?
Speaking of McCusker, Prisoners of Rock and Roll is sponsored by McCusker's Tavern in Philadelphia, and we're proud members of the Pantheon Podcast Network. And speaking even more of McCusker, we are changing it up tonight by recording this episode in McCusker's Tavern with an audience.
Yeah! I heard my name more than I ever once in my life.
Yeah. We recorded this show here for months when it was closed, and it's so great to be here with other people, although I do not like that I actually have to pay for my beer now.
Yes.
That's all right.
I was bringing my own.
Well,
but
you insisted on buying the first beer here at McCusker's.
I did, yeah.
You know.
That was funny.
But it's kind of funny because we always talked about doing a live show here at the bar when we have our friends here with us. So this is kind of like a dream come true for us.
Yeah, hopefully this picks up the atmosphere, that we can show off through the radio waves.
Yeah, let's do it. And if it doesn't work,
we'll never do it again.
It's the podcast. Who cares? Tonight we are talking about road trip songs. And Ryan, that was your suggestion because I'm going on a 2-week road trip out west.
Where are you going, Bruce?
I'm going to Montana, South Dakota, and Wyoming. Yeehaw.
Sounds so exciting, man. But I'm only kidding. But I've been to South Dakota before, and it's beautiful.
I wish I was going with you.
Me too.
We wish you were going with us as well. I think some of the other guys that are working here wish you were coming with us as well. But,
yeah, they don't need me around. Jesse could work while I'm away, right? Jess, you're good? Yeah.
So before we start, man, we're going to talk about, we got 20 songs that we thought were the ultimate playlist. And back in the day, right, you would have to make either the cassette tape or the CD, and you'd have to
manage your book of CDs.
Right, you'd have to make the folder with all the CDs, and you have to make sure if you're burning a CD, you got to manage how much time it has, and you get the 120-minute cassette tapes.
Yeah,
and
I miss making mixtapes, but I make playlists on Spotify like nonstop.
Yeah, man, dude, you're on point with all the
I
playlists
try.
you make for this.
It's a hobby of mine, putting songs together and see if they rock together.
So, I know both of you guys take a lot of trips. You guys have all kinds of stories about taking all your musical pilgrimages.
Yeah, me and Ryan go on trips. We try once a year. We're going to start up again when more shows come more available. But we usually take a trip every year to go see a certain band. We have to go. One show that I kind of wish that kind of happened was Aerosmith 50th anniversary show in Boston at Shea Stadium.
You
that
mentioned
been
that,
awesome.
Yeah.
And Ryan's like, we should go to the show. I'm like, dude, you want to go see Aerosmith again? He's like, dude, it's the 50th anniversary
It's the 50th
show.
anniversary, and they had Extreme was opening up for them.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Extreme was opening.
That would have been great.
So what is the longest road trip you guys have ever taken?
South Dakota.
Did you drive out to South Dakota?
I drove from here.
Shit. Oh, I'm flying out there.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
Yeah. We started here, and then Chicago, Milwaukee, kept on going, man, and got to Mount Rushmore and kind of looked at it for a few minutes, turned around, and came right back.
That's a lot of calluses on your ass, man.
Yeah.
What about you, Ryan?
I don't know. Road trips, probably about 6, 7, 8 hours, but on a plane, I've been to Italy, I've been to Ireland, I've been to Canada, I've been a lot of places, but I really miss out seeing a lot of America. I really want to see, I'm really jealous that you're going to Deadwood. You better bring me a magnet back or a T-shirt.
But, a lot of people spend all this money to go abroad, to go see, Ireland, England, Greece, whatever. But there's there's so much beautiful things to see in this country that people take for granted. One of my dreams to do is fly to Chicago, and then drive Route 66 all the way to California. Like, I'll get there. I'll do it one day.
The road trip is such a classic American thing, and the road trip playlist is absolutely essential.
It's a must. I mean, what kind of... You don't even know you're on a trip until you got the playlist playing.
I mean, and even if you guys are just taking a day trip and you're driving down the Jersey Shore, which is about an hour and a half and 2 hours from here, you got to have the tunes.
Yeah, mostly it's usually the Grateful Dead or Fish.
Yeah.
But, we try to split it out a little bit.
So I think the way we're going to hit this tonight is we've got our list of like 20 songs. We didn't put them in order organized by us. Ryan put it in order that he thought made sense.
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll, we got our listener feedback. We've got the electric chair. Maybe we'll ask people in the bar. What do they think, man?
Yeah, right on.
What are some other good songs? You just want to jump right in and just start up?
Let's see here. We got some great people here tonight. We're all happy to see everybody.
We got a decent full house.
We got Joe over there. We got the other Joes over here somewhere. Joe's over there. You
You're recording in Philly. You got to have like
a couple
5 guys named
Joes.
Joe. Yeah. So, all right, man. You want to just jump right into the first song?
Let's do it.
All right, man. So the first song that you put on your list was "Born to Run" by Bruce Springsteen.
I think that's the most great song to open up to. We're gonna bust loose, and we're born to run.
Let's do it, man. Let's listen to a little bit of it.
Wow, was it a couple weeks ago we did our electric chair and somebody was like, "Oh, you got to do some Bruce Springsteen to send him to electric chair."
It was the electric chair episode.
Not in our show. Damn it!
Not in our show. We did a whole show on Springsteen.
I know. I don't get it. I mean, if you don't get Springsteen, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure some people sitting here right now.
I'm sure.
Don't get
Raise your
Springsteen.
hand if you hate Springsteen. Yeah.
Get out.
2, 3,
Get out.
4, 5, 6.
We got about 100 people here tonight.
Yeah.
At McCusker's.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Dude, it's a great song, man. Sprung from Cages on Highway 9.
Yeah.
Like you can go to Highway 9. It's not that far from here. It's an hour and a half. It's 15 minutes from my house. I live a town or two over from where he grew up. Not on purpose.
I'm sure.
I've only dug through his trash a couple times.
That's it.
I think that song is the spirit of running away.
Yeah.
Busting loose.
And that's like, Springsteen's thing. He's like, the American dream, like maybe the working class American dream, and just kind of just go, drop everything and just go.
He's got a new compilation coming out. It's called like America's Playlist. I was like, oh, that's pretty, or ironic that we do playlist and he's coming out with a playlist. I'm like, is he stealing? He's clearly stealing our gig.
He's clearly stealing from us.
I know he is.
Yeah,
we're gonna
I'm sure
sue
he
him.
listens.
But he's back on Broadway now with a show. They just reopened that show on Broadway, that one-man show that he had.
I wonder if it's the same show.
But they
over
put it
again.
on Netflix.
It is. I think
It
it is.
But they
It was
put
really
it
good
on
on
Netflix. No,
Netflix.
it's great. I loved it.
I love when he sits there and you pose with the guitar.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I asked Ryan, I'm like, you already saw it on Netflix. If you had a chance, would you go see it? He's like, absolutely.
Fuck
I don't
yeah.
care. It's the same show,
I would go in a heartbeat. To see Springsteen on Broadway in a small thing like that. And if you've never been into a Broadway theater, it's like it's like stadium seating.
Yeah, you're sitting on top of each
you're
other,
looking
man.
right down at them. Like
It's
there's
really
nobody
vertical.
else there.
Yeah.
He also did say that the band is going on tour next year. I mean,
Nice.
he'll be 73, 74 years old, but
Hey, man,
he'll be
you'll
playing
never know
until
it.
he's... If you're into rock and roll, there is nobody that compares to a live act than him. I said, if you can listen to the show we did on Springsteen up until Born in the USA. We talked a lot about his live performances.
Yeah.
It's just second to none.
Besides his music, I really love this book. I mean,
Yeah, I read his book
to
also.
like really get in depth of how he grew up. With his grandparents. On one side of the street, he had the Irish family. On the other side of the street, he had the Italian family. And he would go over to the Irish family because that's where everybody drink and sing all the songs all the time.
They go to the Italian side to go eat.
Yeah, obviously,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's a great pick, man, to open this up because it's just a big, hopeful song about getting out and breaking out of everything. And I think a lot of the songs that are on this list kind of have that same theme. All right, let's keep on rocking and
Let's
rolling,
keep on
man.
going.
So the next song you had on the list was "Beautiful Day" by U2, and there's a couple bands that are on this list that I feel you could have picked any one of several songs. And
Sure.
This is one of them.
I picked this song. We obviously talked about The Streets Have No Name on every episode we talk about. So I wanted to pick another uplifting song by U2. I think this would be another song to go 75 miles an hour outside the city.
And when this song came out, this song was such a breath of fresh air for me, anyway. And it was kind of like, U2 got a little, experimental with their sound at times and everything like that. And this was more of like a rock and roll album.
The whole album.
The
is
whole
great.
album is great.
Let's play it.
Yeah,
play it.
Let's play 30 seconds of it.
You thought you found a friend to take you out of this place. Someone you could lend a hand in return for grace. It's a beautiful day. Sky falls, you feel like it's a beautiful day. So let it get away on the road.
Bruce, you just said the greatest thing about U2. It's like another U2 song with an awesome build-up.
Yeah, we normally play like 30 seconds of a song. We had to let that go for a minute 30 because every one of their songs has these enormous intros. I mean, it's not like we're The Streets Have No Name or Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For, but it's still a very slow
No,
build.
I think it's a very uplifting song.
No, it starts off very subtle, and then it just kind of just builds up and just kind of just crescendos up.
You're
I'm
like
a musician.
crochet,
crochet,
crochet, cliche.
Yeah. Hey,
Colostomy.
maybe something like.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Doug.
No. I was just going to say, this whole album, all the things you can't leave behind. This is a great road trip album, in my opinion.
Yeah,
You know,
Elevation is a great song.
But when this album came out, man, there was that was right after 9/11, or it came out pre 9/11. And for me, it was just like something to hold on to. It's like, there's no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole because you didn't know what was going to happen the next day. And this was just something uplifting. I'm not a very religious person, but I guess I'm a very spiritual person. And this really
Is that your quote?
nothing's my quote, man.
Okay, I was like, man,
I get bits and pieces from
insightful
everybody
from you.
around me, man.
I just think U2 is just one of those bands that bring people together.
Yeah.
Bono, people have their opinion about Bono. Maybe he talks too much and he has an opinion that just goes on and on and on. But, he writes all these great songs. You can't take anything away from him. I mean, you can hate certain songs and you can hate him, but you got to be like, he wrote some timeless songs.
Absolutely, man. And I didn't go too far down the rabbit hole in the nerd shit and any of the songs that are on this list, but I looked a little bit about this because I was like, the album before this was Pop.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I do not like that album at all.
It grows on you after 30 years, dude.
Well,
It grows on you.
If it doesn't grow on
the
you the
COVID
first 10
virus,
years.
right? Coronavirus will grow on you too if you give it a chance. But I also found that, and I was reading a little bit about it. Jimmy Iovine, who produces all this stuff,
he's a genius.
He did not like Pop, and he was like, "I'm not putting out another one of your albums until there's a single on it."
Yeah.
And then as soon as he heard this, he was like,
Okay.
this is a hit. Let's go."
He's not necessarily wrong. You know what I mean?
I think
this whole album, this song was a big commercial success.
I
Yeah.
think this song gives a great leeway to what the album sounds like. Like everything on this album has the same uplifting sound as Beautiful Day does. Elevation's uplifting. You got
Keep yourself together.
Keep yourself together. Stuck in the moment.
Stuck in the moment.
Yeah.
And Pop was the album that if they were not U2, they would never be able to make.
An album like
Right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
They were like,
It was- yeah. I
think
we're
it was more
super
of an
successful.
experiment.
We're
Yeah.
going to just kind of be
Yeah.
different.
That album was just like an experiment, I think.
They got in front of themselves with their.
I still think they were trying to make fun of media and maybe America a little bit.
But about everything you left behind, I mean, I feel like they got back to regular U2.
Yeah.
Like they weren't trying to be an art project. They weren't trying.
Which is what Pop was. Pop
Yes,
was a
Pop was an art
like
project kind of thing.
Nico
Yeah,
kind of
but if
shit.
you remember, Octoon Baby, when that came out, man, that wasn't very well accepted when it first came out. People were kind of like, "What is this?"
Yeah, but Pop was a major,
no, absolutely
unsuccessful
Yeah.
album.
Octoon
Yeah.
Baby was a totally different sound for them.
Yeah, and
but
everybody
was a
fell
huge
for
hit.
it.
And we talked about it on one of the shows. That's why I like U2 because they always evolve. But like Ryan said, when they made this album and this song and the other songs on the album, they got that back to being U2.
I think they knew that they had to make a good U2 album, not necessarily a pop album.
Yeah.
But this album, that song was a hit on the pop chart.
Oh, I get it.
Not the rock and roll chart. And Bono talked about that. He was like, that had always been elusive for us as a band. We were always like the alternative or whatever the hell the chart was.
But I think a little piece of me believes that they realized that they had to win their fans back, and they did.
I think the fans were all about pop.
Yeah,
I
the
think it was the
hardcore
people.
fans.
I think the people that just buy records and just listen to singles. Yeah, they didn't understand it.
Well,
everything you left behind was such a comeback.
Then they realized that they needed to sell more albums.
Well,
I like U2 a lot. I fucking hate that album, Pop.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I haven't listened to it in a good 20 years.
I mean,
I'm
I
not
wasn't a
gonna
huge
put it
fan
on.
of Zooropa either, so...
Yeah, I mean both of them.
Zooropas,
Both of them
that's
were art
experiments,
projects.
yeah.
I respect and appreciate the fact that they are always evolving and trying new things, and they've made me such a fan that I give them some leeway. They're not like... I'm not going to abandon them because they come out with something that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they forced the download down to my iPhone.
That was
awful.
nobody was really happy about that.
They made some
that was a
awful
horrible
albums.
album. Yeah.
They made some awful albums in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, the last one they put out was pretty good. I liked it. But that free shit they gave away, no wonder they gave that away for
It wasn't
free.
they gave it away. They
put
put it
it
on
there
a
without anybody- yeah.
They put it on a brick and they threw it through your window. And said, here you go.
Good point.
No. Cool, man. Yeah, we've talked about them 3 or 4 times on the show. They're a classic rock and roll band. And the next song that we have on here is another artist that there could have been 7 different songs by this person on this playlist, and that's Running Down a Dream by Tom Petty. Recording, we're good. All right, let me just play a little bit and let's just talk about it.
Sun beat down. I had the radio on. I was driving. Trees went by. Me and Del were singing Little Runaway. I was flying. Yeah, running down a dream that never would come to me. Working on a mystery. Going wherever.
When that song comes on, your foot gets a little heavy, man, and you start flying down the highway a little
That's
bit.
like my man Andrew over here. He says he wouldn't mind getting a speeding ticket if it was for this. Or did you get a speeding ticket?
For
Listen to
that
this.
song? That's awesome.
That's great, dude.
2 speeding tickets listening to the song.
Good for you, Andrew.
I mean, dude, yeah. You get on the road and you hear that, you just want to
Just
pedal
rip,
down.
yeah.
You're putting the arm out the window. You're doing that thing where the air's going up
Yeah,
and
yeah,
down.
yeah.
You're getting the sunburn on the one arm.
You know, I just see myself cruising, like, you know, starting out the New Jersey Turnpike just on the beginning of the trip, just tearing down.
I mean, like, for where we are, if you're going to Philadelphia down to the New Jersey shore, you can take a highway, or you can take a lot of, like, back roads that are just 2-lane highways
Take
through
55.
the Pine
Yeah.
Barrens.
Yeah.
And this is one of those, like, there's nobody in
Yeah.
front of me. I'm just going to light it up, and I'm going to go.
Like you said, like that's the first song probably on the playlist because it's a great opener. You know, he's opened shows with that. You know,
it really charges me up when I hear that beginning of the guitar solo of
that riff?
of the riff of the song,
When the guitar solo starts, is just...
which is great.
And it hits you, and then it backs off, and then the acoustic guitar comes in, and it just, it's a couple chords, and then it steps out.
See, that's the thing about what was great about Tom Petty. He wrote simple songs. He wrote simple hooks.
yeah, he's a songwriter.
He was a great songwriter, but songwriters make it too complex. And he like stripped it down and just made songs when like bands like U2 kind of stretch out and try to make, statements.
Right. Jess, you hear that? How brilliant. My wife is
She's
here.
not a Tom Petty fan?
She does not like Tom Petty.
Wow.
She doesn't like his voice.
Let's get booed at McCusker's.
Boo this woman!
Boo! No, we love you.
She doesn't like his voice, so... But
Wow.
she's getting lectured on
Good
on Tom
thing I'm
Petty.
not going away with you because we would listen to Tom Petty all the way through everywhere.
Maybe Owen's going to make it listen to Coldplay the whole time.
The warden is taking so much shit for liking Coldplay.
Yeah.
Hey, man, somebody's got to like them. It's because they sell a lot of albums.
Right. Cold sore.
Cold sore.
But Tom Petty's very missed.
I miss him so much.
I still say every time I hear him, I can't believe he's dead. I still can't believe that. Like, it still hurts.
And he was on your list of the top 6 American rock and roll bands of all time.
One of my buddies, Brian Geisler, he he listened to the episode, and he called me. He's like, "You are so lucky that you put." I'm like, "Of course I put Tom Petty up there, man. Like, it's great American music."
I've said this a couple times on the show, and I might have edited it out, but I took my daughter to go see Tom Petty on his last tour, and
Lucky
she's
you.
here.
Yeah.
Chloe.
And it was one of my favorite concert moments.
Did you like
ever.
it?
Yeah, he was great live. One of the last times I've seen him, he blew me away on stage, man.
Yeah,
He
that was the only time I ever saw him, and
Really?
I was glad I did.
Oh,
And,
good for you.
All the times we talk about, like, if you want to go see somebody, go do it because you never
Yeah.
know when you're going to get
Yeah.
the chance. And that was, he wasn't that old.
The last thing I saw Tom Petty did, he was on stage, came back on for his encore, and his opener band was Stevie Winwood. So
You said that.
Yeah.
I told this story before.
Rub it in
I'm
a
sick-
little bit more, Rye.
yeah, I'm going to rub it in a little bit more.
Doug was working, right?
Yeah.
And he...
So, Stevie Winwood playing, and he doesn't play Give Me Some Love, and I'm kind of shitting my pants and being a baby about it. But then he comes out during the encore for Tom Petty, and he plays Give Me Some Lovin' with Tom Petty, and it was so awesome.
He said you were calling him at the bar.
I was calling Doug up on the phone like, "You're missing it.
Yeah,
I
that was
don't
great.
care."
That was great.
Steve Winwood is one of the, my bucket list of people that are still around and touring.
Yeah, you should
that I
definitely see
haven't
him.
seen. That
Yeah.
I wanted to go see him last year, and I think he's playing with Steely Dan. I initially thought it was James Taylor when I trashed
God.
him. I think it's Steely Dan, who is maybe 1A below James Taylor.
There's
to
not
me,
many
but
Steely Dan songs I like.
No. And there's no James Taylor songs I like, but I don't want to get all fired up.
Didn't
and
we
angry
we
again.
kill one of his songs in one of our
did.
old episodes?
Yeah.
Fire and Rain.
I couldn't even speak. I got so angry talking about James Taylor. I said I should see a
He
shrink.
makes me angry. His laid back songs make me angry.
Well, we're here with all of our friends, so let's not get
Yeah,
angry.
let's not get angry.
No.
Let's keep rolling on, man. So the next song we have is, I don't know who picked this. It wasn't me, but I'm really curious to hear why, and that's the Impression That I Get by the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
I love the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
This is a great album.
Ever since I was in high school, I followed the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones. I've seen them probably at least 6-7 times. We would show up their shows with suits on, and if you don't know the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, they're a ska band.
Right. They have a trailer that they pull around with them with all of their suits and
Yeah.
their wardrobe. And
Yeah.
they have like the plaid suits. And,
Yeah, they're a good time, man.
Yeah, let's hear a song.
All right, let's do it.
Close to tragedy, up close to folks you have. Have you ever felt the pain so powerful, so heavy you collapse? No, well, I never had to knock on wood, but I know someone who has, which makes me wonder if I could. It makes me wonder if I never had to knock on wood.
I love that song. I know it's played out, and you hear it in the supermarket probably all the time.
Yeah, you do.
But I
You do.
love this song. You're cruising down the highway, and the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones are just upbeat band. They got no downers. All their songs are upbeat. The horns are so jolly. I mean, and you just their shows were so much fun when we would go back in the day, Doug.
No, they're so much fun, and I still like to listen to of course the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, but there's a few other bands. But that ska was really, really big for a split second. Maybe a year.
Yeah,
then, the
95, 98.
Yeah, then Brian
that era.
Setzer caught on, and he started. Then the big band sound came in.
Big band, Bad Voodoo Daddy. And
Yeah,
all that.
Cherry Pop and Daddies and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
But I think that ska was the gateway for, especially that album Facelift, because that was a huge album.
That was
they
a great
sold,
album.
They sold a lot of copies of that, and I think that was the gateway to that sound making a big comeback.
To me, I mean, I'm 45 years old. I remember being in high school and people just putting stickers around in the bathrooms of the bulldog.
Yeah.
They just said Mighty Mighty
everywhere.
Boston, and it was like this underground kind of thing. And this one song was a hit, and it kind of brought them up to the surface. And it kind of they disappeared again.
I think things go in waves. Of course, everybody jumps on the bandwagon, off the bandwagon, and Boss Tones haven't been on the bandwagon for over 20 years. I mean, you see them on the Warped tours, you see them on that, but I haven't seen them in Philly in a long time. I haven't even seen their name posted. I know Dickie, their lead singer, he's on the radio all the time out in Boston. He has a show.
He was the announcer for some talk show. Was it like Conan or something?
No, I think he was an announcer for one of the basketball teams or something like that?
No, he was on television every night. Like, I pick one. Like, I
don't know.
like 5-6 years ago. But he definitely was the announcer for some talk show. And I was like, holy
Dickie
shit!
Barrett?
Yeah.
Dickie Barrett. That's his name?
Yeah.
He's the man. But their show, if you've never seen the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, or you don't know what skanking is a form of dance that you do to ska music. It's
And they even had a guy on stage that his job is just
Ben
to dance.
Carr.
Ben Carr, man.
Ben Carr.
He's a trip.
He would do nothing but dance on the stage. He didn't play an instrument. He didn't even sing backup. He just danced on stage.
Yeah.
They're playing
Yeah.
a couple really small shows this year. They're playing a brewing company in Colorado called
Jesus.
Ska Brewing Company.
Of course they are.
Because of course they are. They're playing in Worcester, Massachusetts outside. They're playing Riot Fest in Chicago.
Are they
and they're
really?
playing the Greek in California. But that's it. They got 4 shows.
That Riot
lined up.
Fest looks like a great show. I wish I could
Yeah.
go to it because I'm old. I don't think I can hang out that whole day. But there's a lot of great bands on that show.
Yeah.
But I wish the Boston's would hit Philly if they're listening to us. Come down here, man. Let's do this coast. Your family left you, Bruce.
They did. All right. I don't know where they went. And they're going to miss the next song because this is probably one that they would have liked. So the next pick is mine. And it's Here I Go Again by Whitesnake.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
I think is the greatest driving song ever written.
Let's hit it.
Let's do it.
To walk along the lonely street of dreams. Here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone, and I've made up my mind.
God, I miss the 80s, man. The 80s were so much fun. And, poor Tawny Katane, right?
That is the greatest driving song ever.
Yeah. I mean, I just picture Tawny Katane riding around actually straddling the
Rolling
cars.
the car. Absolutely.
Straddling the cars.
Absolutely. I mean, we own a 1980 Corvette, and there is nothing better than if you're and when we bought it in like November, and then for that December, I made my wife a CD because it doesn't have any audio input to it. And it was all hair metal music. It was Motley Crue and Def Leppard and everything else. And this was the song that was,
But the question I have for you, is that Stingray like street legal?
yeah, it's
Is it?
legal.
You sure?
Yeah, you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you take it out, man. You smash on that gas, man.
What-
It'll move.
When I hear that song, I think of the movie. What's the movie when he goes back to college?
Back to School? With
No,
Rodney Dangerfield?
no.
Soul Man?
No, not Soul Man.
Did they cancel that movie? I think they knew they
Yeah,
might
that was a
cancel
little
it.
freaky movie.
What are you talking about? Like Billy Madison or something like that?
No, the movie with.
Okay, that was REO Speedwagon.
Yeah.
he was chilling the REO Speedwagon.
I'm trying to
Old
remember.
school. Old school.
Old school.
Old school.
Old School.
When they're playing that song in Old School, and that's what I think of. He's revving the engine. He's like, "Yeah, I don't think it's street legal, but we ain't going to talk about that."
Yeah.
But that video was great. The song was great. Bruce, you said in one of our episodes that you went and saw Whitesnake, and they still got it.
Oh, my God. Yeah, man. We saw him at like a really small venue, and he was in all denim, and he had the smoke up behind him. And
Was
he's
it
like,
acid wash
and
denim?
he's in his 70s. He could still sing.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he was like, is anybody smoking any weed out there? And, and he's like, well, pass it up here.
Jesus.
He was great.
I like David Coverdale. I always have. I think
He's really talented.
they should have hired him for the Zeppelin comeback.
I don't know about all that. I think
Dude, that album he did with Jimmy Page was awesome.
I got to be honest, they're not my favorite band, and I always thought that he was just Robert Plant, cookie cutter.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
No, I mean, I love
Like Steve Vai was
Whitesnake.
great.
Yeah, Whitesnake put some great albums out.
Yeah.
I mean, that song is a classic. It's a video classic. And, it's one for the Spank Bank.
Definitely a rock and roll, driving fast song. All right, man. We're moving on. Song number 6, Interstate Love Song by Stone Temple Pilots. Let me just play a little bit of it.
Waiting on a Sunday afternoon,
Hey, Andrew, next time if you put on like Running Down a Dream, maybe you should switch and put that song on. That might make you like slow down a little bit. It's a great song, but that's kind of like a chill drive song. You know what I mean?
I'm not a Stone Temple Pilots fan at all.
No.
I mean,
Well,
I like that song. It's okay. But I just never got what everybody was so about Scott Weiland. Everybody says he was the greatest frontman ever.
No, he just wanted to be Bowie, but in my opinion. But no, Stone Temple Pilots was great, man. They're a great band.
Their first couple
band.
albums, I mean, that album Purple was just fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
like Core was really good, and then they just came out with another album that was just as good.
Okay.
No Sophomore Slump.
No, but it's just they got. I feel like they got big really fast when they first came on the scene. They were not very well accepted at all because of sex type thing. They got a lot of shit over that, and I think we might have talked about in another episode. Their first tour was they opened up for Megadeth, and they were getting a lot of bad press because of domestic abuse and things like that, because what the song was about. And then Dave Mustaine got there. He's like, well, we don't care if anybody likes this band. We like this band, and they're going to be huge. And they are. They got
were.
huge.
And Plush, I mean, they got compared to Pearl Jam a lot with Plush.
Oh,
I mean, I
absolutely,
literally,
yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
seeing that video the first time and thinking it was the new Pearl Jam video.
Yeah.
But
I think that Unplugged was good. I think when
they're
they
all-
did Unplugged, that was one of the best Unplugs around.
and they
They showed how talented they were. I mean, it's just a shame that Scott Weiland couldn't keep it together to be in a band.
couldn't lay off
Yeah.
the Tylenol.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
Tylenol.
You know what's also weird? Like, I didn't follow them very much after their first 3 or 4 albums.
Yeah.
I never knew that Chester Bennington from Linkin Park was their lead singer.
Sure.
Yeah, for a hot minute.
For a while, and like they put
Yeah.
out a couple songs, and I was
Yeah,
just doing a couple notes, and I'm like, really?
Maybe they should call it quits. They
Yeah.
get 2 singers that
Yeah, we
died.
said-
Maybe they
yeah,
should call
we
it
said-
quits.
Right.
Yeah, me and Ryan talked about that before. Like maybe those 3 guys just have bad luck, and maybe those 3 guys are a pain in the ass,
Could-
and like they push it to that point.
Could they get James Taylor to be their new singer?
They could.
That would be great. And
They
then if
could.
he could follow in the footsteps.
But those 3 guys put out another band. The band was called like Talk Show or
Yeah,
something
it
like
was
that.
terrible.
And that was I literally bought that record at Tower Records and then drove in Cherry Hill and then drove back to Haddon Heights. And whoever was in the car, by the time we got back, which is a 20-minute ride or whatever, I kind of like, who wants this thing?
yeah, it was no good.
I gave it to my buddy's little
remember
sister.
when that came out.
Yeah.
It was no good.
Yeah, they weren't good at all. I just don't like them. I never have.
But I'll tell you what,
Okay.
though, those 2 brothers, man, they're great. They're great. They're fucking great, man.
Yeah, they
They're
had a
great
flash
band.
man of a couple albums that they were just really, really successful and put out a lot of hits.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. Song 7 is Highway 101 by Social Distortion. I'm so glad to see them on this list.
This is actually my first pick. We've been recording for a half hour. This is my first song.
All right.
But this is like my always to go to. This always gets me in a great mood. This is a great song.
Let's play 30
I hope
seconds.
everybody likes it.
Yeah, let's play 30 seconds of it.
Take a drive, baby, up the coast, yeah, Highway 101. I'll pass Ventura and Santa Barbara too, just as fast as my motor runs. Got a pocket full of memories, some happy and some are sad.
This whole album, Sex, Love, and Rock and Roll. I think Bruce, we talked about it before on the show. This might be my favorite Social Distortion album. It's like one of their later releases, but from beginning to end, like you have Reach for the Sky. Don't take me for granted.
Nickels
and dimes, and sometimes that's my theme song. Like all I do is chase nickels and dimes. If you're not familiar with Social Distortion, like Alex is here. Alex never really listened to Social Distortion before we started talking about
Because
it on
he's
the
a
show.
deadhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he liked them, right? You liked them, right? Yeah.
We have a Social D license plate hanging up in the bar. One of our friends gave to us years ago. I love Social D. I don't have tattoos like you guys have Social Distortion, but I've probably seen them about 5 times. How many times do you see them, Bruce?
Almost 10. So I think I
Oh,
mentioned
well,
this in
I've
one of the
seen one I have,
episodes.
yeah.
Like last year was the first year I haven't seen them in probably a decade. They they tour every year, and they haven't announced any dates yet this year, and I'm hoping that they do. Yeah, man, they're great. I mean, they're one of my favorite.
Yeah.
After Springsteen, they're probably my favorite band.
Yeah.
I said it before. Mike Ness, his lyrics are so deep And so, like, I don't know. I always said it before. His lyrics and music is like a leather rose petal. I don't know if that makes any sense.
You did say that before, yeah.
Something that's so delicate like a rose, but it's leather, like a leather jacket. I don't know.
He sings a lot about his heroin addiction and finding God after he got cleaned up. And White Light, White Heat, White Trash is probably one of my favorite albums like ever.
Yeah.
And when I'm feeling down or I'm depressed, I'm upset. The two albums I always go back to are that album and The Rising by Springsteen.
Sure.
I just feel like it's I just find comfort in it. Yeah, man, and that album, this album that you're talking about with Highway 101 on it, I agree. It's great.
Yeah. And like for a road trip, that song is just perfect. Like there's been like 1,000 times like I've been driving and then I put it on and it's just like I just love it, man. It puts me in a great mood. Like I love like they have a song called Sick Boy. Mm-hmm. So there's a lyric, sick boy, sick girl, riding on a Saturday night. I love that because he's tapping into another song of theirs.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I just love it.
There's again a lot of songs that I would listen to. I'm going to on a trip. When She Begins off one of their early albums is always on a couple of my playlists when I'm putting something together. Mm-hmm. They're just great. They're a great band. I hope to see them on the road sometime soon.
I hope so.
Yeah,
they're a great live band. I've seen them. Maybe 5 times.
Yeah, I've probably seen him about 8 times. But I took my girlfriend Anna to go see him. She's never seen him, so I took him one time. And I think you might have been at the show. Is it the show at the factory, the Electric Factory?
Yeah.
And it was like more of a rockabilly kind of show. And she's like, "What is this? I thought we were at a punk show." I'm like, "Yeah, me too."
But that's funny. We were at that show, and it was me and Jess and the kids, and two of my buddies from college, and we were talking about how when we were younger, we would be like way up in front in the middle of it.
Yeah, we were.
And now I was like, my ass was like out the door at the Electric Factory because I'm like, I don't want to get hurt. I'm gonna throw my back out.
You took the kids to that show?
Yeah,
they had to be young because that show was like a good like.
It was
7 years ago.
It was at their request. They're like,
really?
Can you take us to go see Social Distortion?
Awesome. Chloe, if you ever want a Social Distortion tattoo, me and Bruce will take you.
I actually, she has a couple of my Social Distortion shirts, and my fat ass doesn't fit it. Actually, the one time Ryan and I, you and I went and saw them.
We had a great time.
In like 2012.
My God, that was great.
I gave Chloe that T-shirt because I don't fit it anymore.
Nice. I brought a hoodie from that show, and it was my favorite hoodie. And then I gave it to some girl, and I never seen it again.
That's how it goes.
Chloe, I think I might have something for you. That it doesn't fit me anymore, but I think you'll dig it. You can take it on your trip with you.
Social D.
All right, let's keep moving on. Next up, we got Rearview Mirror by Pearl Jam off of Versus.
This is you, right?
This is me again.
Yeah.
This is a great opening song. Like, it's just a great song. Great song.
One time, in the bar, I had a customer, and he was a cop, and he told me we were listening to the song, and he told me if I was chasing somebody, like speeder, and they were playing the song, I'd let them go.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, he's like, I would let them go to this song. If they were listening to the song and going 100 miles an hour, I'd let them go.
You hear that?
Yeah. So when you're going 100 miles an hour and you play,
turn off the Tom Petty.
Yeah.
And put on.
Might as well take a shot.
Jam.
But this album was great when Versus came out. Like it was like the follow up to 10.
10.
And I love this album instantly. It gave me like the album opens up with Go, but it's such a high energy album, and it kind of make me wishes that they would put out more music like this again.
Their last album was awesome. I loved it.
Did you really?
Yeah, they're not making Fish albums. They're making Pearl Jam albums. I loved it. I was listening to it the other day. I love it.
You guys are bigger Pearl Jam fans than I am. I mean, shit. I mean, the seat I'm sitting in, there's 4 Pearl Jam posters within 5 feet of me here in the bar. I kind of stopped listening to them when Versus came out.
That's when you stopped?
Yeah, the first 3 I really liked, and I just kind of like, I don't know.
By Vitology, I had enough of them, but I got back into them by the Yield album. When Matt Cameron joined the band, I was like, all right. They got a good drummer. I'll listen to them
Yield's the
again.
one with the cover with all the little signs, the little squares all over it.
Yield the
Oh,
one that has a yield sign on
Yeah,
it, and
okay.
they're on a highway.
The album that you're speaking of, that album's called No Code.
Gotcha,
And
okay.
that is my favorite Pearl Jam album to
Okay.
date. And I have like the 5 other guys will say the same thing. You got like Red Mosquito on there. You got such a great. Maybe you should give that one a shot one day. Like it's really good.
Versus. I love Blood on Versus. I love Animal.
Yeah,
I love Corduroy. Is Corduroy on that, or is that
that's on the Vitalogy. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Animal is great. It's probably the last Pearl Jam album that they really, really, really like totally got down rocked with that old '90s rock sound.
And I don't know if I talked about it before when we were talking about Pearl Jam, but like when Versus came out, which this song is on, the vinyl was released a few weeks earlier than the CD was available. So if you want to hear the new Pearl Jam album like early, you buy the vinyl, and you got a sneak peek anyway, because vinyl was really picking up. It was still a thing. It's still a thing today.
No, I think by that vinyl came out, everybody was throwing their record players away by then.
Yeah.
You know, everybody was like with the CDs, and even cassettes were on its way out.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember getting Versus on CD, and it was that. Remember, it was orange?
Yeah, it was orange.
It was orange, and I was like, that's pretty different.
But that, when they released that CD, that thing didn't come in a jewel case, man. It came like in like a booklet.
That's right. It was like a
Yeah.
It was like a
It was like
cardboard
something,
cutout.
It was like
kind
kind of
thing.
something new that was like I never bought a CD
Yeah,
like that
Octung
before.
Baby was like that too. A couple
Was
of
it?
the other. When you say that,
Yeah.
it was like the cardboard packaging,
Yeah.
the
It was
thing
definitely
that folded out.
earth friendly.
Yeah, but that's why Pearl Jam was super cool, because they were, even though U2 might have done it before those guys did it, but they were just doing something different than like just what everybody else was doing. They
But
put a
I
little
think
more
that-
love in the product.
I think that hurt them in the long run when they were trying to be different.
Yeah, with the whole Ticketmaster thing
They were
and-
like, we're going to be different. We're going to, but they ultimately they hurt their fans.
Sure,
They hurt
in the
their
long
fans
run.
in the '90s. They
Yeah.
didn't get to. Nobody got to see them barely.
And they're still doing it.
No. They come. They played Budweiser Fest a couple years ago.
Yeah, but
I
like,
mean,
well, here's the thing. Me and Ryan were going to go down to Memphis, take another rock and roll trip. I'm sorry, we're going to go into Nashville. So right before the pandemic, the show was going to happen I forget when it was, but then the pandemic happened. Ryan busted his ass getting tickets. So if you get these tickets, you couldn't get them on what is it?
Ticketmaster, Live Nation, or whatever.
If you didn't get tickets, you weren't getting tickets. It was illegal to sell them. You couldn't do it. Like New York, like Madison Square Garden was a different. They had their own laws, and that show was a little bit different. But the rest of the tour, you couldn't. If you didn't get tickets, you're not going, unless it was some
there's
second party.
There was no third party ticket sales.
So
Yeah.
I've always respected the fact that they want to cut down on that shit. Like
Yeah.
people taking advantage of it, but like you said, when they do it,
They're
they wind up hosing people.
It's my problem. If I want to pay $500 to go see them, that's my problem. That's not up to them.
Yeah.
I think again they're hurting the fans.
No, and I agree with you on that. Absolutely.
And again, if you don't get tickets on a pre-sale or anything like that, you're shit out of luck. There's no way you're going to get tickets to Pearl Jam if you don't have a pre-sale.
And that's part of it too. Like there's 17 different, the Citibank pre-sale, the Amex pre-sale, the Rusty Trombone pre-sale.
That's what pisses me off about Pearl Jam fans. So they fuck around just like everybody else does. They do all the buy-ins. They sell out.
Yeah.
They're not. The one album they sold at Target. They had the Target thing on the front album cover. Do I love them? Yes. Do they go against like everything? Like no. They cashed in a long
So you're
time
like,
ago.
like spare me the.
Yeah,
Spare me the bullshit.
Yeah,
Eddie.
they're not
Eddie.
against the establishment anymore.
No, they bought in.
Yeah, and they want to do things by their rules, and like you guys said, they're just hurting their fans.
I think they're humble ass dudes. Don't
They
get
are.
me wrong. I think they're humble dudes. I think they still write great songs. Then when they come, they still bring
sell
it.
out,
They
yeah.
sell out. They put a great show on. But I just think over the years they've just done so much stuff trying to change things that they hurt their fans.
And that being said, Pearl Jam have their core fans, just like the Dead does, just like Fish does. They sell out every show they go to, and
Yeah.
people who like Pearl Jam, dude, they love Pearl Jam.
They can do 10 nights at Philadelphia and they'll sell out
They'll sell
every
every
single
night.
night.
every night.
Yeah.
But I just wish it was easier to get Pearl Jam tickets, or they played bigger places. I wish they played Lincoln Financial. Then you would have no problem getting tickets.
They
Go
could
to
do
see
that.
'em.
They could do that.
Yeah,
They easily could do
Ed
that.
Sheeran can sell out Lincoln Financial Field,
I still can't believe
Pearl
that.
Jam
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. All right, so we got 2 more songs left until we're halfway through. So the next song, awesome pick, Good Vibrations by
That's
the
me.
Beach Boys.
Nice.
Let me just hit it.
Hear the sound of a gentle wind on the wind that lifts her perfume through the air.
I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me the excitations. I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me the excitations.
I just think that's a great song. If you're going to the beach, your road trip to the beach, that's
Yeah.
a great song to start off with.
That's a song I've probably heard it 100 times, and I swear every time I listen to it, I uncover something new, or I hear something different in it.
There's so many different sounds going on. That I mean, Brian Wilson was a major, big part of the Beach Boys. He wrote all the songs. He had visions for them, and he was completely out of his
Right,
goddamn
and
mind.
this is the song where he's like he
lost his mind
right,
doing
he's
this
Looney
song.
Tunes. This is the song with the sand all in his living room,
Yep.
and he's at the piano.
It worked for him though, like because he wrote a brilliant song.
Yeah,
you know.
They said when this song was recorded, it was the most expensive song ever. It cost over $50,000 to record, and the Beach Boys don't play on this song. It's
Well,
all studio guys.
I don't think Brian Wilson trusted them musically to play on his songs.
because they're all kind of like fighting with each other and all this other.
Well,
or
I don't
do you
think
think they can't
I
meet
think
his
they were
standards?
I think they were just not on the level Brian was on.
Exactly.
I mean, they were like, let's write surfing music and like A, B, C, and Brian Wilson's just going, let's go A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
But
and it's way over their heads.
But like Ryan said, like the Beach Boys, the guys who played in that band, weren't capable of playing to this level.
To that level.
He had a different sound in his mind that his cousins and brothers couldn't give him.
Well,
You have your road bands, and then you have your studio bands.
Well, there was a lot of different sounds going on there. A band couldn't do it.
No.
You needed an orchestra.
Yeah.
Like that whole that's a cello.
Yeah.
Going back and forth. There's just so many little sounds going. Like you said, every time you listen to it, you hear something different.
Yeah. You hear that real high pitch. I think it's called a theremin, like that.
Yeah.
I don't try to
Yeah.
make the sound. I'll blow the speaker out, but it's like that thing you hear at Halloween all the time.
Yeah.
It's just a very rare instrument, but
Yeah.
they put it in this.
Yeah.
And it really works, man. And they said
Yeah.
that there's so many. They recorded over 70 hours for this song, so like they don't even really know who all the musicians are that are playing on it. 'Cause
It's the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
So many different takes and pieces.
Did you ever see that documentary, the Wrecking Crew
I didn't,
documentary?
and you
have
guys
to
mentioned
watch
it before.
You got to watch it. But what is impressive is in this song, it's their voices. Their harmonies
The
are absolutely
no
amazing.
You
band.
can't mistake that.
No.
They may have not
No.
played on the album,
But that's
they
all their
sang.
voices, yeah.
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 Thank you.
That's a big thing.
Absolutely. The Beach Boys, their signature sound is the harmonies.
Yeah.
This was the last #1 song they had until Kokomo.
Damn.
Which
that was like
sucks.
30 years after.
22.
So
Oh.
we were on the beach on Monday, and Ryan's playlist has Kokomo on it, and we're all sitting around like, dude, where is Kokomo? And we're all looking on Google, and it's completely made up. It's nowhere. Like it's just
It just
a name.
sounds good.
Yeah, it just sounded good.
I've been trying to go to Kokomo for my whole life. I go to the travel agent. They look at me like I'm nuts.
You know what? And I also, as I was doing my research, that Todd Rundgren covered this song.
Did he really?
I have I didn't look it up. I don't want to know.
How is he going to the Rock and Roll of Fame?
I don't know.
He covered Good Vibrations or Kokomo.
We played 5 seconds of one of his songs when we were talking about him on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
episode.
did, did he cover Kokomo or this song?
Or Good
Do you want to
Vibrations.
see if I can find it? Let me just.
No, we're good. I don't even.
I mean, I'll share it with you guys in a couple days. All right, man. Cool. All right. Song number 10. One of you guys picked this. I didn't. This is Free by Fish.
Yeah.
I was going to put this on my list, but Ryan beat me to it.
I feel no curiosity. I see the path ahead of me. In a minute I'll be free, and you'll be splashing in the sea. We'll hear a tiny cry as the ship goes sliding by. Free.
I mean, I just put that on there to represent Fish because a lot of the road trip we'd be listening to Fish.
Yeah. I asked him, like, "You're going to put Fish in the Den?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to put Fish in the Den."
Yeah, I'm going to put Fish because that song to me, it's called Free, and to be driving on the highway is being free,
just not being home, just going somewhere else.
Yeah.
This was the only song in the playlist that I didn't know, and I have not listened to a Fish song since you and I worked together in a music store and you played in a store over 20 years ago.
Right.
I really like this song.
Did you really?
I really enjoyed
All right,
it. I listened to it a lot.
Joe, did you like it, Joe? Did you like that song? Joe hates Fish.
I listened to it several times, and I was like, I really dug it.
But
He got into 2 car crashes.
but Fish is a big deal to me.
But they're. I'm sorry.
I know both you guys
Yeah.
are really into Fish. Doug, you're wearing a Fish hat right now.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
But their studio albums, I feel that some of their studio albums that you would really dig, Bruce.
You should definitely check out that one.
Probably the last album I listened to them was the double live when that came out, and that was like 96.
Yeah. I always tell people if you're going to get into Fish, you should listen to Billy Briefs or you should listen to Hoist. They're great albums to introduce yourself to Fish. Fish is like listening to Zappa. They have so much music, and there's so much weird music that it's hard to get into them. You have to line up the right songs to get into Fish.
Sure.
And we've talked a little bit before. Like they covered Jay-Z,
everything,
and some it sounds like they will do. And I probably should just shut up because I'm woefully undereducated.
No,
compared to the two of
right.
you.
Every Halloween they play an album. Like they did a Talking Heads album one time. They did the White album. They did Dark Side of the Moon.
I'll give them another shot. I mean, I don't need to hear another the 25 minute live version of Bounce Around the Room on that live album.
But one album that I think that you would dig is Farmhouse.
Okay,
that's an album that
so
I think
is
a really
Farmhouse. I'll check it out.
I think you should listen to Farmhouse.
Right.
I think you would love it.
I wish we could have a Fish show on our
put it on the list, man.
I think we should definitely have a Fish show
force
on
me
the
to educate
Prisoners of
myself.
Rock and Roll.
All right,
I got a few books I can lend you.
All right, let's do it.
Right on.
Yeah, man, so we're halfway through the list. Why don't we take a couple-minute break, and we'll recharge. We'll come back. We'll do the next 20 songs. We'll see if anybody else in the bar has got any ideas they can share with us, and we'll take it from there.
Awesome.
We'll be back.
Stick around.
Prisoners of Rock and Roll is sponsored by McCusker's Tavern at 17th and Shunk Streets in Philadelphia. There's something for everyone on the beer list and the jukebox at McCusker's. It's minutes from the sports stadiums in Philly, making it a great place to stop by for a few drinks before or after a concert or a game. Come see for yourself why everyone from Philadelphia Magazine to Playboy has called it one of the best dive bars in the city. Visit them at 17th and Shunk Streets in Philadelphia or on Facebook. That's McCusker's Tavern. All right, we're back from the commercial break. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. I got 2 observations, man. We're taking our commercial break. One, my daughter is frantically writing notes of all the songs that we don't have on the playlist yet.
Well, I do have a list of other songs.
Yeah, man, let's do it. Let's just grab bag it.
Yeah, later on at the end of the episode.
And
we'll do.
I've had 3 people ask me where the warden is tonight.
Rob, you are missed here. You should be here with us. We should have Rob on the show. I think a lot of people are curious to hear Rob's voice.
But Rob would be an expert on the subject for what he does for a living, so.
He did send us a couple of honorable mentions.
Okay,
yeah, so
awesome.
We can
read
pull
them
it
off.
up. Yeah, man, so let's just jump right back into it. Number 11 is a song, man, that I love, and that's Take It Easy by the Eagles.
I love this song, too. Just play it.
Well, I'm running down the road trying to loosen my load. I got 7 women on my mind. 4 that want to own me, 2 that want to stone me, 1 says she's a friend of mine. Take it easy, take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels drive.
I think Doug and the Big Lebowski both hate the Eagles.
I'm not a really big fan of the
Why?
Eagles.
What? Like you just said that last episode too.
I said to my buddy today, and we were talking about the episode, and don't get me wrong, this song is actually really good. I will admit this song is great. But I kind of flash back when I was a teenager, and for Christmas I asked for the Hell Freezes Over album, and I was like, why would I ever ask for that?
Because it's great.
Yeah, it's just. Sometimes it's just elevator music to me. Sometimes I
personally love the Eagles. I think one of the greatest lines are in that song, standing on the corner of Winslow, Arizona, and the rest of the lyric with
Such a fine sign to see. It's a girl, my lord, in a flatbed Ford, slowing down to take a look at me.
I think that's some of the great songwriting of America.
See, I wrote in my notes, and I don't have a lot of notes on any of these songs on purpose, and I wrote, we may lose, we may win, but we'll never be here again.
Which is amazing.
Love that.
Yeah.
Out in Winslow,
Winslow.
out in Winslow, Arizona, there's a statue of a guy standing on a corner.
Because there's nothing else in Winslow, Arizona.
No, but they have a statue.
Sure.
Of, like, supposed to be Glenn Fry
They probably
standing
have
out there.
They probably have like a Dollar General. They got a Subway. They got the statue.
But that's pretty amazing. I never heard that before.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
either.
fantastic.
It's pretty cool.
I would definitely go out and see
I
that.
want to see that.
Yeah. I love the Eagles. I love everything that Don Henley does on the drums. I think he's a brilliant drummer that he plays with the song.
He is a great asshole.
Oh, yeah,
have you
but
ever
he-
heard like he's
he
the
can play
dude
drums,
that,
though.
He's the dude that like if he's backstage you're not allowed to look at him.
Oh,
Or the people
really?
that cut his, he's one of those.
I would never
like-
would have took that for. I would never have thought that.
I always heard. I mean, I watched the documentary, the Eagles documentary, and he is kind of a jerk. I went and saw him, and he played some theater. Maybe it was the Forest Theater I seen him at in Philly, and somebody yelled out, "Hotel California," and he's like, "Not on your life." And I was like, Jesus, you could at least be like, haha, not tonight, guys.
Yeah,
But
but
him,
there's
being,
there's that
him
whole-
being so blunt, being like, not on your life.
There's that whole debate over there's writing credits that they fought. What's the guy's name? Like Don Feldman.
Yeah.
The guy that was in the Eagles that wrote that has the royalty. Like there's a really acrimonious fight over that. I love the Eagles, man. I love the acoustic sound. I think acoustic guitar sometimes is as close to the sound of God as you can get.
Okay.
I love the harmonies in it. I tend to.
It's a great song.
It's just great.
I will give the Eagles this. They're very diverse in their sound, and their sounds in different songs. It's not just like one sound. They evolve. They have a country song. They have this song like Hotel California.
I believe that their greatest hits album is the best-selling catalog album
Of all time.
time.
No,
It's one
definitely
of those
is.
with like Dark Side of the Moon. It's been
Yeah,
on the record.
Thriller.
Yeah.
It's been on the charts for
Yeah.
like a zillion years.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Even like Life in the Fast Lane, like I
love that song.
Yeah, that's
like
no.
the stuff that Joe Walsh adds to that band
Yeah.
is
He's
great.
great.
I think Joe Walsh is too good for that band, but that's just me. Like, I love Joe Walsh by himself. I love the solo stuff. I just appreciate the person that he is because he's a mess. Like,
I think
he's an ultimate rock star.
When he was on Howard Stern all those
Yeah.
years when
Oh,
he
yeah.
was really drinking, it
Yeah.
was like you felt bad
Yeah.
for him, but it was hilarious.
Yes.
I think they should have called it quits when Glenn Fry died. It was kind of who they get to replace
his kid,
him.
didn't
His
they?
kid replaced him. And then what was his name?
Vince Gill.
Vince Gill.
So I heard it over
There
there.
you go. Thank you. Yeah, when Vince Gill took over, I just think it's kind of, not cool. I think they should call it quits. Glenn was a big part of that band. Stop calling you the Eagles. Call you something else. Don't bring your kid up on stage and do. I don't get it.
I
Yeah.
agree with you on that. They should have just called it quits. But
But I'm going to go see Dead and Company.
Yeah, we'll go see Dead and Company. No problem, right, Alex? No problem. We'll go see Dead and Company with John Mayer.
All right, let's keep on rocking. So, speaking of rocking, the next song, man, "Can You Hear Me Knocking" by the Rolling Stones. Another band. There could have been 7 or 8 different songs
Absolutely.
you could have taken, and let me just play 30 seconds of it.
Yeah, you got nasty boots. Y'all got cocaine eyes. Yeah, you got sleepy Charlie. Can you hear me knocking on the window? Can you hear me knocking on your door?
That was one of my picks, and that's like you said. You could pick like 6, 7 different songs.
I'm sorry, as we're playing the song, my wife and my daughter are handing me notes of like, why did you pick that song and not this?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Christ, what a tough room. It's a tough crowd, folks.
On a paper plate.
On a paper plate. Let's take it real serious.
Throw the paper plate at me.
She threw it at you like a frisbee.
I'm sorry, Doug. You were talking
No,
about the
no,
Rolling
no.
Stones song.
No, like you said, you could pick like 6 or 7 different songs. But me and Jesse, the guy who's bartending tonight, we had a conversation the other day how this is our favorite Stone song.
Really?
I love the middle part of this song.
Yeah.
They really bring it down, and with the drums that go up down, and the guitar is real soft.
Yeah.
And then they bring it back up. Great.
We didn't even talk about this song when we were playing. We did our Beatles versus the Rolling Stones episode, like way back when.
We talked about a lot of songs.
Yeah.
We did. We were here for like 6 hours talking about.
And I think that was part of me. That's why I wanted to play this song. Even though I can listen to the Stones for like hours on a road trip, like nonstop. But dude, this is like my favorite Stones song. Like driving, sitting, working.
I could put the what's that last compilation they put? Gurr.
Yeah.
The one with the gorilla on it. Like
That was a great album.
I could just.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got 8,000 different variations of that greatest hits album, but like top to bottom, it's just great. And I could drive for hours.
Yeah.
listening to
I've
that stuff.
seen them probably at least like 15 times, and I'm never disappointed with them.
Have you really
No.
seen them that much?
Totally.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Totally.
I've only seen them like 4 times.
No, I traveled to see them. I've been all over this coast to see the Rolling Stones.
I've only ever seen them twice. So once was with you. It was for your birthday.
Yeah.
We went.
Yeah.
And then we were sitting in the top row.
Yeah.
And all the way in the back of the Spectrum. And then my wife and I, we took my daughter for Christmas. And again, much like I said, the Tom Petty is one of my favorite moments. It was like seeing her looking up and just being like, holy shit, that's Mick Jagger.
That's how I
It was
feel.
just, it was
Yeah.
really, really cool to see
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
reverential looking up.
But all those guys in the band, like, we had a really great experience the last time we saw Stones. We saw them at the Link. And
They were great.
we have like
They were
We have a
awesome.
lot of good friends here at McCusker's, and somebody really hooked us up and got us down on the floor, and we were like maybe like 10 yards
I
away
remember
from.
I think we were all texting each other. I think
Yeah.
you guys
I'm
were.
like,
we were
look
on the floor too, but we were in
Yeah.
the poor people
We were-
side on
dude,
the
we were
floor.
right-
We're only in the $500 seats.
It was so funny. My friend from the bar brings us down to the stage, and we're on the side of the stage, and Mick Jagger's right there, and he says to me, "Do you want to get any closer? I'll get you close." I'm like, "No, Rich, this is fine right here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much."
He catches like his red fedora that he came out in.
Yeah. I never get disappointed by spending money to see
Yeah.
the Stones. People will spend money for the Super Bowl or some shit like that, like outrageous money, and then come home fucking crying that they lost.
Yeah.
I'll spend $300 to see the Stones
Easy.
and not be disappointed.
I remember
Easy.
that the year that we went, we got him secondhand seat, and they were like $300 a ticket.
Yeah.
I said we were way the fuck back.
Yeah.
And I remember going on Facebook that night, just posting worth every penny.
It was.
Every
It
word,
was.
like period
Absolutely.
after every word.
Absolutely.
I think the most I've spent to see the Stones was probably about $500, and I saw them on the 50th anniversary tour. They only did like 3 shows in
Yeah.
America.
Yes.
And that was one of the, like, John Mayer came out and played with them. The next night, Lady Gaga came out and played with them. Thank God I wasn't there for that. I always look forward to that song live. When he says, "You could be my partner in crime," that's my shit.
And I talked about this last week. That blues documentary. It was actually that thing that you and I watched,
Yeah.
Ryan. It was actually that was a couple hours of the Martin Scorsese blues documentary that we missed. I think we watched 2 hours of it or whatever I shared with you. And it's like a 6-part thing that Scorsese did. And I didn't know that. I saw it on YouTube. But anything that Keith Richards is on and he's talking about guitar,
It's so
man,
interesting.
I like, because he's just like, we spent hours preparing for this show to talk about like one song, and he can just go. And he is like, dude, that dude, he's a zillion years old. He is a walking encyclopedia, man. He just knows
sure.
his
Of
shit.
music.
He knows
Yeah.
music history and his. And the way he talks, like, he's laughing as he's talking. I could listen. Like, if I could have a beer with one musician,
It'd be him.
man, he
Me
just like
too.
just listen to him.
I'm not a guitar player, but I'm with you, Bruce. Whatever he has to say about guitars or tuning or anything like that, maybe I don't completely understand what he's talking about because I don't play guitar.
Right, but you're
I'm
like-
so intrigued by it.
Yeah, dude, he's just like a walking historian. It's really interesting.
That's why he's so influential, man. We talked about it last week.
Yeah,
You know.
and they're a band that is always looking backwards at the history of music, and
Sure.
Springsteen does a lot of that too. doo-wop and gospel and
Yeah.
shit. But the Stones, man, like the blues and the gospel and all
Everything.
that stuff.
The R&B and
And they're not
Christ.
just ripping it off, man. Like they get it, they understand it. And it's just
Yeah, they moved on with the times too. They did like kind of like a disco song, man. Like, you know what I mean? they adapted to time and sound. That's why they're still around.
At some point in our lives, people that we meet are going to go like, "Holy shit, you saw the Rolling Stones!"
Yeah.
Hopefully,
You
that's
know,
a long,
like-
long time from now.
I've-
And they keep on doing it, like
As long as there's cocaine and Jack Daniels, Keith Richards is still going to be
But
around.
if they're coming, we're going. If they
Absolutely.
absolutely,
Yeah.
I'll always
Yeah.
go see them.
Yeah.
Always.
All right, let's keep rolling, man. We just spent an exorbitant amount of, disproportionate amount of time talking about Stone, but they're the Stones.
Yeah.
Next up was one of my picks, man, was Once in a Lifetime by the Talking Heads.
There's
song.
water at the bottom of the ocean.
We've gone 22 episodes and we have not talked about
I
the
know.
Talking Heads at all.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So, let me play a little bit of it.
Living in a shotgun shack, and you may find yourself in another part of the world, and you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile, and you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife, and you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here? Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down. Letting the days go by, water flowing underground into the blue again after the money's gone.
I love the Talking Heads.
They're one of the greatest bands of this decade, or I'm
Ever.
sorry, of the century.
This
you know.
song is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's 500 songs that have shaped rock and roll.
Absolutely.
I believe it, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're sitting here with our headphones on, and the way that little electronic like beep
Yeah.
is bouncing in between each ear.
Yeah.
Everything
It's
they
genius.
do is incredibly complicated.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's a great
Yeah.
way to say it. Everything they do is complicated. From the little things, sounds on their songs, like things you wouldn't even notice until the 30th time you listen.
right,
to it.
but not like to the point that you're inaccessible.
No.
like it's them and Brian Eno produce all their stuff, and some of the shit that Brian Eno puts out is
Yeah.
just like art project kind
Yeah.
of stuff, and you don't get it. But this is really accessible music, and you want to circle back to the blues, that call and response that he like the song. He says something and then he says it back. That's gospel. That's blues. And
Yeah.
they this song, man, was also recorded like they're all like outtakes from jam sessions.
Really?
Oh, wow.
And Brian Eno cut out all of these little pieces that he thought, and he looped them all together.
No way.
So it's like a lot of like electronic kind of stuff.
Huh.
So Brian, like the band was messing around. He took it all and like back in his little recording studio and spliced it all together. And it was like, check this out. And it was like really different musically.
It's such a different kind of song.
Does he get
Right.
writing credits for it?
I probably.
Yeah, he would have
I
to.
don't know, but he might.
Yeah.
But it's
He would
also
have
like
to.
it's a really catchy song for as like technically complicated as it is.
Mm-hmm.
He was on Saturday Night Live like a year ago and played this song with like a band.
Yeah, but-
it was really good.
Well, they have the thing on HBO Max. I haven't watched it yet. I don't know if we talked about it on the show yet, but Dave Burns, he has a special on HBO Max. That's the play that he did. Like I saw it like on the Grammys or something, or the Oscar, or it might have even been the Tonys, and it looks brilliant. I talked to people who've seen the thing that they put on HBO, and everybody says it's brilliant.
he
So,
played like the Tower Theater or something last
Yeah.
year, and I really wish I would have went.
I've missed him a few times. There was a few times I had a chance to see him at the Man Music Center, and I had to work. And I just hear he
Yeah.
puts a great fucking show on.
Our
and-
buddy Neil went to go see him at the Tower one time, and I'm like, he's like, you have to go see him if you ever get a chance. I'm like, well, I know a lot of Talking Head stuff, but I don't know a lot of his stuff, and he doesn't have a lot of solo stuff out. But it doesn't matter if you know it. It's an amazing show. What the show he puts on.
He
What-
has like an album he's put out in the last like 5 years
Yeah.
that I listened to. It was really good. He's almost like he's like Peter Gabriel. Like
Yeah,
he
I
writes this
think
really
he-
complicated
I
stuff.
think he's better
but-
than Peter
but-
Gabriel,
it
in
was
my
like-
opinion.
But you can, it's accessible.
Yeah.
Said it's not like artsy shit.
yeah,
I think he's more ear friendly than Peter Gabriel. It's or Genesis.
Yeah.
I think they're a different kind of rock and roll than the rest of rock and roll is. I think they're maybe one of the original, not original nerd rock, but it was definitely.
I would say it was.
You know.
It's like that new wave
Yeah.
stuff.
It's
but
still
they're-
punk rock at the same
Yeah,
time.
but it's like that Velvet Underground, like pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
Weirdness,
Oh, yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
Art Project and
Yeah.
like.
There hasn't been a band like the Talking Heads. After,
No.
you
No.
know?
No.
I think they're like again once in a lifetime band.
Yeah, like how you said, I think we pretty much came up that we agree that they're better than he's better than Peter Gabriel. Now, do you think that's because he's an American and we kind of get what he's singing in his lyrics a little bit better than what Peter Gabriel's might be talking about?
Yeah, maybe Genesis is a little bit too limey.
Yeah.
You know, and they're an American band.
Yeah.
The Talking Heads are an American band.
And the Talking Heads don't have Phil fucking Collins making all their... Now I'm done. We're done with James Taylor. He's next on my... I'm going to get him, too. Yeah.
Phil's all right. He's okay.
What is wife divorced him?
Yeah,
he smells really, smells really bad.
His daughter's on like a TV show. She's like an actress of some sort.
Yeah, fuck her too.
He made some. He made some good movies.
Yeah, Oscar. No, not Oscar. Well, it doesn't matter. But
Against All Odds.
Yeah,
he just made it sound. He wasn't in that movie.
I don't need to hear another Phil Collins song the rest of my life.
He made all those Disney songs.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like Phil Collins and Elton John, and they could get on Richard Branson's space shuttle and get launched out into space and never hear them again.
Sure.
So, all right, but one band, instead of space shuttles, let's talk about trucks.
Yeah.
Specifically trucking. The Grateful Dead.
The
trucking.
Grateful. God bless the Grateful Dead.
Let's do it. Here's trucking.
Sometimes the light's all shining on me. Other times I can barely see. Lately it occurs to me what a long, strange trip it's been.
That's just representing the Dead a little bit because we would listen to them for about 300 miles straight.
Easy.
What's that? 4 songs?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
about four songs.
Yeah.
Alex, you love the Grateful Dead, don't you? More than anything. Are you going on a road trip, aren't you? You're in San Diego. Flying out to San Diego to see... you're driving and flying. You're taking the elevator. Oh, okay.
But did you tell me you just got fish tickets for the same trip?
Yeah, you're going to see Fish and the Dead on the same trip. Man, wish I was going on that trip. I'm going to have to do my just own trip at home.
Right, that's a hell of a trip.
What a long, strange trip it's been. I mean, they're the greatest American rock and roll band. I didn't put them on my list for that show because obviously they are, and no umps about it.
Okay.
I got to be honest. Like the Grateful Dead has been the most important musical influence of me in the last 10 years. Like that's when I really
we should do a show because you guys have said this several times like how highly you think of them
but even like musically, just spiritually, man. Like it really
changed
did
your life.
Yeah, it really did change. Something changed in me when I really got into the Grateful Dead. Like you just get peace with yourself.
The great thing about the Grateful Dead is like the different years. If you like the first couple years, they're really bluesy.
Yeah, we were talking about that the last episode.
And then they get more psychedelic. And then they become, in the 70s, they become more rock and roll. And then in the 80s, they became this classic rock band.
Yeah.
You know, and now they're just, how can I say, institution of music.
Absolutely. Very well said. Very well said.
I mean,
it's a culture.
It's a cult. They invented a culture.
Absolutely.
They were the beginning. They were the beginning of all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, more than probably any other band. I mean, the live experience of seeing them. I mean, even it's almost laughed at or poked fun of or it's a stereotype or whatever at this point.
The one thing that I love about the Grateful Dead that they were not influenced by the Beatles in the beginning at all. They were playing before the Beatles.
When they were like the Warlocks.
They were the Warlocks. Yeah.
So I know a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to hook you up with some books and about Fish and the Dead, and we're going to have a long, strange trip.
I told you, I read the A Long Strange Trip It's Been by them, and I read the Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test, and I was actually reading them both at the same time, and it was weird. I was like,
confused.
I was reading back and forth, and
Did
actually
you feel like you're on LSD?
Well, like the plot actually the plot of both books converged on the same point where they're at the house making the LSD, and I'm like,
hilarious.
I'm reading it from two different perspectives. It was weird.
Yeah, man.
That's why you don't read more than one book at a time.
I don't read one comic book more than a time.
You know, what I thought was interesting about this song too was when Robert Hunter was like, you know, he's not in the band, but he was
He's
the
a writer. Yeah.
He always thought that this song was going to evolve like as more stuff happened to the band, because all this, you know, Busted Down on Bourbon Street is from the band, and as they grew,
all the years go on,
they would write new verses for it, and the band was kind of like, no, dude, that's not what
we got to
doing.
stop doing that, because they're really giving away all the secrets.
Right.
Like a few people knowing about it is great. Oh, fucking million people, you don't want to know about it.
Yeah. All right, they deserve to be on the list, man. They're good. It's good driving music.
God bless the Grateful Dead.
All right. Next up, we got "Take Me Home, Country Road" by John Denver. This is one of my picks. Here we go.
Younger than the mountains, growing like the breeze. Country road, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road.
As I've gotten older, I've definitely gotten into more country music, and that might be part of my wife's influence on my life.
Is John Denver country? Or
I think he is. I think he is. Jess, you think he's country?
Yeah, okay. I just remember him being in the pop rock section.
He's in that like folk. Some of his stuff's considered in that soft, folky kind of adult,
that's where I would put him.
Contemporary shit.
Yeah.
I like. Boy, what's that song, Jess? I'm a country. Thank God I'm a country boy.
Thank God I'm a country boy.
Yeah,
it's a great song.
That's a country. It's a hillbilly song.
Yeah.
I mean he's a hillbilly a little bit.
What was the Mountain High?
Yeah, Rocky Mountain High.
Yeah.
Rocky Mountain High.
Yeah. I think the most thing I know about John Denver is the Muppets Christmas album.
I fucking hate that.
Oh, come on.
Oh my God.
I absolutely know nothing about John Denver except for that what Ryan said and the movie Oh God.
Oh God, yes.
You know what I mean?
Oh God.
That's with George Burton. This is like not my cup of tea at all. Like, I think maybe that you just gave me one of my electric chair choices,
I think, like you said, as you get older and maybe more experiences in life, you can listen to John Denver and maybe identify with it. I mean, being two little punk rock kids from Philly, we wouldn't get John Denver, but maybe driving cross country to see mountains reflecting in a lake, and hearing that song.
To me, sitting in my backyard around a fire is that's just a song that we'd play.
Like like how you said, like I got Neil Young later in life. Like one day I just got it. Like it's like you have to be at a certain age. Like it was like Scotch to me. Like, oh, I like Neil Young now. John Denver, I don't know, and I've been to the Smoky Mountains. That was a great road trip that I've been on. I've been to Dollywood, I've been to Gatlinburg, and all over, and you could really feel that presence and that style of music out there, man. Like but I guess when in Rome, you kind of adapt to things, but it wouldn't really be something that I would be like, oh, I'm influenced to listen to more of him. But I love you and I respect you, so
no, it's all good, man.
Right
That's why
John Denver
made the list.
John Denver is one of the greatest American songwriters that there was.
I've said this a couple times. I really want to do a show on tragedies for musicians.
Sure.
I have some notes on the circumstances of which he died, and I want to get into it because I think we got a good flow right now. But it was man, it's a really weird story, and I just think it would be an interesting.
He
died
plane crash, right?
Yeah, something that he was he built or somebody built
it was
for him.
This really not like a model.
It was like a kit,
a kit car kind of thing. It was a kit plane. Awesome, let's get in this.
Which is dude, if you're a very wealthy musician, don't build your own plane.
Yeah,
dude.
Don't they learn yet that they can't fly in these small planes?
Yeah, come on, man. All right, let's move on to something else happy. Next up, we got a couple songs left. We got Jessica by the Allman Brothers Band. Let's play 30 seconds of that, too. 30 seconds is 3% of the length of the song.
You didn't get to the song.
I love the Allman Brothers. I was sitting here looking at Bruce. I'm like, this is an instrumental song, right?
But I got to be honest, that song, like, I could just be walking down the street and that will just like pop in my head and feel like the Charlie Brown song, like walking around, like it's a beautiful song.
Yeah,
like,
to me,
they're a great band.
To me, like I see driving on the highway with cornfields in the background and horses in the fields. I just wish that I can have these images come to life when I hear these songs and like live them for real.
This song was in the Progressive was using it as like a commercial for a while. The guy riding the motorcycle and stuff.
Yeah,
it's been in a bunch of movies.
Yeah,
it's been in a bunch. I think it's a great like setting.
Yeah,
like a mood setting.
Yeah, it's a great piece of America. I also think, like just the song itself.
The Allman Brothers were such a great band. They're one band I never got to see.
Yeah,
I never went and saw them. I regret it now.
Whatever's left of them in the Dickie Betts band are playing at the Stone Pony this summer.
Oh, really?
I've
seen Dickie in concert. He was pretty good. He plays all the Allman stuff.
Yeah.
But there's a new band out. It's the Allman Brothers with it's called. What is that band called with the Allman Brothers?
Allman Betts Band.
The Allman Betts Band.
Yeah, that's who's playing the Stone. That's playing the Stone Pony.
Oh, I'll do it.
They're opening for a band called Blackberry Smoke, which is
Okay.
like another kind of jammy country kind of band.
Because they're like the Betts and Allman. They're like the kids of.
Oh, the kids.
They're the kids.
Okay.
Then they have a band, like a cover band.
That's great. That those guys.
I hear they're smoking.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah. Did you see them? They're on Peach Fest.
Peach Fest. Everybody
Yeah.
played Peach Fest.
I wish next year I'm going with you. Well, cool. Next year I'm going with you guys. And if it sucks, I'm going to blame you.
Very cool. All right, man. Well, let's keep on rocking. So this next one, this one threw me for a loop. This is "Keep Your Hands to Yourself" by the Georgia Satellites.
Yeah, you gotta have it in there, man.
A little bit of yeehaw in here. Let's do it.
I got a little change in my pocket going jingle-langle-lang. Won't you call you on the telephone, baby? I give you a ring, but each time we talk, I get the same old thing. Always no huggy, no kissy until I get a wedding ring. My honey, my baby, don't put my love upon no shelf. She said, don't give me no lines and keep your hands to yourself.
That was one of my picks. I go down south a lot to go see my girlfriend's family. We go down probably like twice a year. And when I get down past Virginia or anything like that, that's like one of the songs that I put on, dude.
The radio just automatically changes over to it.
Dude, you drive down there and you just feel it. I don't know a lot about Georgia Satellites, man, but like I know I love that song.
That makes me want to get the CB radio. Breaker 19. There's a smoking bandit rolling around there, man.
But that's the South, man. Like, it's
There's
just
a bubblegum machine up on my tail, boy.
But there's great guitar work in the song, great lyrics. It's just, again, I think it's a great American song. And if you're on a cross country ride across America, if you're driving across America or something like that, that's like a staple in my book anyway.
Absolutely.
In my car, it is.
Absolutely, man. When we do yeehaw nights in my backyard on Saturday nights, we fire up the Grand Ole Opry. That's always on.
Is that a yeehaw song?
Yeah,
it's a rock and roll song.
No, dude, that's a yeehaw song.
It's a rock and roll song.
What do you guys think? Is that a rock and roll song or a country song?
Keep your hands to
Satellites.
yourself. It sucks. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
that's a yeehaw song. He the lead singer of that band too, Dan Baird. He's got a handful of albums too that are pretty good. He's got it's like that cross of like country. They call it cowpunk, like country punk music, or
really?
southern rock,
like
went more punk.
psychobilly.
Yeah, it's a little.
Did you like it? Do you like it?
Yeah, it's like outlaw country, but if outlaw country went hard, it's cool. It's decent. It's
I'll have to give it a
different.
listen. Yeah.
You ever hear Hank William III?
Yeah.
He's
What the fuck are you talking about right now? At least he's named after the kid, and he's not like Sonny Boy Williams too.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's keep rolling. Next, we got "Descending" by the Black Crowes. This is off the Amorca album.
This is the last song, the Amorca song.
This is a great album. The album's great, and the song is equally great.
Dude, the Black Crowes, man. Remedy was on my short list of songs I was kicking around. I think they're one of last straight up classic American rock and roll
I think
bands.
they might be a band that's kind of forgotten. Like if you're a Black Crowes fan, you're a Black Crowes fan. We know a lot of Black Crowes fans, and they never hit like that popular like band. Even though they played like they went on tour with Jimmy Page and did like monster shows with them, and just did Led Zeppelin songs. But I think they're kind of a band that kind of might have been forgotten a little bit.
They get hauled into the hair band category. Because they came out in the 90s and they were on tour with Aerosmith and they were on MTV all the time. I think they have so much potential of being a jam band.
Yeah.
Than like prior them being a hair band.
I think they get considered as like a southern rock, like a classic southern rock band.
This like when I first start really listening to the Black Crowes, it's the Southern Harmony album, and that was like a gateway album for me. Start listening to blues and maybe like the Allman Brothers or
me too.
Like it was
No.
Play the song.
Yeah, why don't you play the song?
All right, yeah, let's listen to a little bit of it.
Have mercy, baby. I'm descending again. Open your eyes, baby. 'Cause this time it sink or it swell.
The reason why I put this song in my playlist for the show, because you're going to South Dakota. I was driving South Dakota. It was like the sun was coming up, and we're going by the Badlands, and then you hear that guitar come in, and then the sun's coming up. You just see just beauty, man. And I said to my buddy Chuck Reynolds, I was with the trip with. I'm like, dude, this is the greatest song ever written. Right now, it is. Because just where we were and just peaceful.
At that moment.
At that moment. So you have to do me a promise. If you're driving and you see something like beautiful, you got to play that song for me.
All right.
You know what I mean? I think you'll have a great experience.
All right, you got it. No problem.
But, the Robinson Brothers, they're going to do the Shake Your Money Maker show, reschedule that. And,
we were supposed to see them last year.
Yeah.
And we didn't because the tour got canceled. Ryan, you were saying like them being a jam band too. The Robinson Brotherhood, one of the side projects.
They're great.
Like there's covers of like Sugary that they've done that are like 15 minutes long. They're really good.
Yeah, they're a great band. I mean, both the brothers put out different albums that are really great. I think they're just so talented, but I don't think they can get it together to put a new album out. But the last few albums they put out of their career really sucked. Like they really go downhill really fast. Like they're not putting quality music out. I feel like they lost the drive.
Yeah.
They lost the drive. Maybe they're sober now. Who knows? That takes a lot from Chris Robinson.
What's the fun in that?
Yeah. But like one of my biggest problem is, they're doing the Black Crowes Shake Your Money Maker 30 years, 40, whatever, how many years it is. And they got rid of, their drummer, Steve Gorman. Dude, he's been with the band from 1987 to 2015. So they're going to start doing the Black Crowes again. They wanted to hire him in as an employee, not a part of the band. So that kind of really left, this is a big smash and grab. Like, this is a money thing.
Money gets in the way, man.
I guess so.
Rock and roll.
I don't care. Play Remedy.
But it's just like, all these years, this guy put up with all their crazy bullshit, and then you don't give him the respect.
That's a good thing, crazy bullshit. They're ape shit crazy,
Yeah.
those
There's two
brothers.
of them. We went and saw them with Jimmy Page.
Yes.
I saw that show, too.
In Camden.
Yeah.
Dude,
They're
were so
great.
good.
They're great.
They were
Not many
so
people
great.
can pull that off
No.
singing Zeppelin, but man, he can.
Chris Robinson got so pissed off that Dead and Company didn't ask him to be the singer.
He would have been
Yeah.
great.
He would have
Yeah.
been great, but they need another guitar player.
Dude, he
Yeah.
went off on John Mayer on Stern, man. He was going ape shit.
And he was like, "Oh, well, the Grateful Dead to me, people covering them are black." I'm like, "You cover them all the time, dude."
Yeah.
He's such an asshole. I love the Black Crowes, but Chris Robinson, I don't know what he's smoking.
Ego. No, he's an ego.
It's rock and roll.
He is
Yeah.
he's one of the greatest voices that came out in the last 30 years, and he don't get any love from the industry. I don't think the band gets any love from the industry, but I think they're their worst enemies.
That's very well said.
They can't get it together. They have these huge egos.
They're like the two brothers from Oasis that are always
Yeah,
Well, they did a tour together.
They did a tour called the Loving Brothers Tour. The Brotherly Love Tour, it was called, and it sucked.
I mean, how many times we got to edit out you guys fighting with each other on the show? It's like,
Yeah, but we don't
shit.
do it in public, though.
Right,
yeah,
right.
Like thank you for
I
editing.
just I just save it for my own file.
Yeah, your own it's like, holy shit.
Right, I just let my wife listen to it. Like, listen,
Look
check
at
this
these two
shit
crazy
out.
assholes.
All right, we got 3 songs left. 2 songs left. All right, next up was who I think is the most underrated classic rock and roll singer ever, even though he sang 18 million, he's sold 18 million albums, and that's Jackson Browne. Run on Empty, again, to me, is just a absolutely classic. You're going down some back road and you're doing 80 miles an hour.
Let's hear it.
Let's do it.
Looking out at the road rushing under my wheel. Looking back at the years going by like so many summer fields.
He's great, man. I love Jackson Browne.
That's a great song.
I think he's really underrated.
Like, we're listening to it, and I'm like, I feel like an idiot, dude. I didn't know that was a Jackson Browne song.
Yeah, 'cause it does
you know?
sound like an Eagles song.
Yeah.
And we all said the same. It's like, oh, it reminds me of that Forrest Gump scene.
Yeah.
That he's running. He's running when he's like, run, Forrest. He's doing the cross country running.
Yeah.
And the song was like, he wrote it as a kind of a side thing as he was recording his first album because he was going back and forth to the studio and he was so poor. He didn't have any gas on his car, so he's literally like, I'm running on
Yeah,
empty
really?
all the time.
That's
Wow.
And he just wrote a song about it.
You know, I don't know too much about Jackson Browne. I feel like that I would like him. That might be another guy I might have to get into a little bit.
Yeah, I like
everything
him.
I hear. I like.
So I'm saying, like, completely underrated. Like,
Yeah.
he sold 18 million records. And he kind of like, he's not thrown in that same same tier with the big guns.
Yeah, I mean, he has the tunes.
Yeah.
I just think he didn't have a great publicist, or
Yeah. He's a-
or
but I
the
do-
record company didn't back him up.
But I do feel like he is a household name. Like it's Jackson Browne. Like, you know, I seen him on the Grammys or this or that. But have I ever really listened to his music? Like, really, like, get into it? No, and I have to.
And he's a dude, like, if you pull him up on Wikipedia or Spotify, you know more than you think you do.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh, shit, I know that
Yeah.
song. I know that song.
Yeah.
And
Well, we were saying earlier, Jackson Browne helped write "Take It Easy."
Right.
He wrote the first verse, and Glenn Frey wrote the second verse.
And he also wrote some songs for Warren Zevon, The Byrds, Nico. He's very
a
prolific,
very
like
talented.
doing everything. He's almost like the man behind a curtain for 40 years of rock and
yeah.
roll. Very cool. All right, we got what is this next song? "Police on My Back" by The Clash. Man, we get through this whole.
How did we
list.
not have
We
The
didn't
Clash
The
earlier?
Clash on here.
Yeah.
The only band that matters.
I love that song. Man.
I was messing around with my my picks like for the last couple of days, and I heard this morning, and I'm like, I gotta put this on my list. I was talking to Ryan. I'm like, I really hate to bother you, but
Yeah.
this has to be on here. And one time, me and Ann were driving down south, so we take turns of listening to things. So I put on their live album from Shay, I think it was, and we're driving. She's like, "What is this? You think this is punk rock music? Like, what is this? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? What kind of fucking song is this?"
Did you pull over and throw her out of the
I
car?
was like, I just gave her a look. I just gave her a stare. I'm like, you got to stop, man.
Man, The Clash.
We were laughing for about a half hour.
You better pull her over and
Yeah.
Put a Joe Biden
Yeah.
T-shirt on and push her out the door
Down
and
south.
down south.
Dude, yeah.
The Clash was just one of the greatest rock and roll bands
Absolutely,
ever.
man.
Ever, yeah.
I mean, Joe
Self-taught,
Strummer
yeah.
was such a great songwriter. Mick Taylor. Mick Jones was a fucking great guitar player. It's a shame that he died before they can get back together.
Yeah. We talked about them a lot on our punk rock episode too.
Yeah.
And another band that we could do a whole show on, the Clash, are just fantastic.
Sure.
And that's it. Oh, we got one more song. We got a bonus.
One honorary song.
We got one bonus song.
Let's just go to it.
Let me just play it.
Dude,
Come
I
on.
just want to go see some worm farms, man.
Come on.
Lindsay
Dad, I think
Buckingham,
he's going to pork
man,
her dad. I think he's going to pork her dad.
Fleetwood Mac.
Excuse me, Holmes. Can you tell me to make back to the freeway? How many, dude? That's one of the greatest movies ever. You don't even have to say the title.
You can't have
Yeah.
You can't do a road trip show without talking about National Lampoons. I
mean,
mean, like, any of the National Lampoons.
In one of in my next life, I'm going to take a trip, and I'm going to follow the route that the Griswolds did to go to Magic Mountain,
Wally World.
Wally World.
like
yeah.
take that route that they took.
Dude, and then you should just have a friggin' bag on top of the car with
Yeah.
pretend it's the grandmother
The
on top of the
grandmother.
car.
That's what we're going to do. We're just going to live out the movie on the road.
We did a Christmas Story once, so we'll do that one
Yeah,
too.
let's do it. It could be a Prisoner to Rock and Roll road trip. Yeah. So that's it, man. That's our list. That's our 20 songs. So,
Yeah, it's a rockin' list.
Yeah. I don't know. I have some honorable mentions. Well, Doug, you said you had a couple honorable mentions as well on your list.
These are from your daughter, so let's read them out. They're more important.
All right, so my daughter wrote them on a paper plate and threw them at me from across McCusker's. So I don't know if I could read all these.
Well,
let me see here. Rocky Top by Conway Twitty.
absolutely.
Paradise City by Guns N' Roses. Fight for Your Right by the Beastie Boys. For Those About to Rock by AC/DC.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Born Free by Kid Rock. Go Your Own Way by Fleetwood Mac.
definitely.
Cruise by Florida Georgia Line.
Okay.
Okay,
I know who they are.
Baba da Ba by Kid Rock. You can't have the same band on there twice, Clark.
Yeah,
Yeah,
come on. If
kid.
you're gonna be on this show,
Damn it! You blew it!
Brandy by Looking Glass. Beers and Sunshine by Darius Rucker. That's a country song. Burning Down the House by Talking Heads.
yeah,
Come Down by Bush. She put in parentheses, I almost touched him when he was in concert.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, he went running around the... Yeah.
Gavin.
Don't
Wow.
You Forget About Me by the Simple Minds. You could just hear High Street Records
Sure.
cover that.
Yeah.
Drunk and I Don't Want to Go Home by Ellie King and Miranda Lambert.
I missed that one.
And Play That Funky Music by Wild Cherry.
There you go.
Oh,
I
yeah.
like
All right,
that
that's
one.
also-
yeah, that's
Very
different.
A
good.
little bit more
Yeah,
very
rocking than the stuff that
Yeah.
we put together. So,
yeah, right on.
I
That's
wanted to
great.
put some Slayer on our playlist, but yeah.
so Doug, what do you got for some of your...
Number one, Kenny Rogers, Love Will Turn You Around. That's a great road song.
Okay.
Have you ever heard that one? Okay, If You Want Blood, You Got It, AC/DC. Running Down Dream, Tom Petty. Voodoo Child, Stevie Ray Vaughan.
We did run down the dream.
Did we? Okay, yeah, we did. All right, never mind.
So great, it's worth
Yeah,
mentioning twice.
yeah.
That's all right.
Baba O'Reilly, The Who.
That's a good one.
Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. Burning
Yes.
Love, Elvis. Give Me Some Lovin', Spencer Davis Group.
That's a really good one.
Superstition, Stevie Wonder. Road to Nowhere, to Talking Heads. So Lonely, The Police. Call Me Out by Paul Simon. And that's
They're going to
top
say
of my
Call Me
head.
by Blondie.
No.
Call me.
I had Viva Las Vegas by Elvis was on my short list. So, cool. So I think that's it, man. I think we have an ultimate road trip playlist. I'm going to definitely... Well, we published a playlist. I'm going to put this on my phone. I'm definitely going to listen to this when we're out.
Nice.
We're out west, and apparently everyone in the car with me is going to listen to it. So we've got some listener feedback and second thoughts. So we've got some feedback from some listeners and some second thoughts on some other episodes. So we got some Twitter feedback by somebody. The handle was HamScissors13. They said, how many people have you talked about on your blues episode were in the first class of the Blues Hall of Fame. I'm too lazy to look it up. So, well, I'm glad you asked. There are 20 people that were in the first class of the Hall of Fame, and we talked about 11 of them.
Wow.
So John Lee Hooker, Lightning Hopkins, Son House, Howlin' Wolf, Blind Lemon Jefferson, Robert Johnson, B.B. King, Muddy Waters, Charlie Patton, Sonny Boy Williams 1 and 2 both made it. So.
Okay, 1 and 2.
1 and 2 both made it.
Nice.
So if you want to hear about those guys, go check out our blues episode. Some second thoughts. So Billie Eilish clapped back. We were doing the
I knew this was going to come.
we were doing the electric chair episode. Ryan talked extensively about Billie Eilish and how much he does not like her.
I can't stand her. She's miserable.
She's got a new look, though.
So
Yeah, her boobs are out.
and she put out a video on TikTok where she was responding to all these people trashing her, and she said, "Eat my dust. My tits are bigger than yours." She might have been talking to you.
I don't know. My tits are pretty big.
So, and then we had Steve from Philadelphia wrote in and said, you guys were rightfully talking trash about Creed. Have you ever heard Dave Grohl doing the parody of him on YouTube? Go check it out. So I went and looked it up, and I'll play 30 seconds of it. Have you guys heard this?
I've never heard this.
It's pretty funny. Hang on. Let's if we can fire it up, let's get past whatever Facebook ad. And
Thank you, brother. With arms wide open, enunciate the way I please. I pray now. I'm on my knees. I went to church on Sunday. Start the band, so start to get paid with arms wide open into the pews in church.
That's a very entertaining. That was great.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. It was fantastic. One last thing, listener feedback, man. Mike Cianfrone, he's a frequent listener of the show. He's written in a couple times. We read his stuff. His young son was recently diagnosed with leukemia and is going through
That's a
treatment
bummer.
right now. We're thinking of you, brother.
Yeah, man.
And hope everything turns out okay.
Hang in there, little dude.
Yeah, man. So now we're ready to move on to the electric chair. The electric chair is a segment where we sentence a song to death for being absolutely terrible. The electric chair is sponsored by our really good friends at Lunacy Brewing Company. They're at 1500 West Kings Highway in Haddon Heights, New Jersey. You can check them out on social media or at lunacybrewingcompany.com. And this week it is my pick, and I pick Big Yellow Taxi by the Counting Crows and Vanessa Carlton. Man, all right. So I'm going to read an article that the Village Voice wrote. This is a cover by Joni Mitchell. Keep in mind that this article is on Joni Mitchell's website.
Nice.
Okay.
Adam, we don't know if you misunderstood the song's anti-globalization, anti-industrialization, anti-corporation music, or just chose to ignore it so you could get free frappuccinos for life. But we're going to hip you to a harsh reality. Seriously, you know the line about how they paved paradise and put it in a parking lot? Like how they replaced something beautiful with something cold and heartless and commercial? That's you. You were the parking lot, motherfucker. You drove your shitty steamroller over something everyone loved so you could pander your sensitive pussy hound whine to people waiting in line at Carl's Jr. They paved Nirvana and put up a Counting Crow. Arr.
That's
That's
great.
on Joni Mitchell's
Get
web.
out.
That's awesome.
Joni
That
Mitchell
is
hates this song.
I think she's more punk rock than I thought she was.
Yeah, dude, everything about the song is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like it's a shitty cover. The Vanessa called the bop bop bop. Like, dude,
Yeah.
all right, let's just
Kill it.
We sentence you to death.
Yeah. Kill that fucking
Thank
thing.
God, man. That's a terrible song. So that's it for episode 22. Thanks for everyone who's been listening to us, especially everyone who's been in McCusker's Tavern
Thanks,
tonight.
everybody.
Listening to us. Thank
Let's
you
hear
so
it.
much.
Right on, right on, right on. Bruce, I hope you have a nice trip, man.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
See you
This-
next
safely,
fall.
man.
This was fun doing this, and I'll definitely be listening to this as we're on the road. If you like what you hear, you can follow us on your favorite podcast platform. You can leave us a review, tell your friends about us. Anybody in the bar, if you don't have any stickers, we certainly have some with us. I have some in my bag. If you guys who own the place don't have any with you. if you're taking a road trip and need some tunes, we publish a playlist to go with every episode. You can find it in our show notes and our social media pages. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're online at prisonersofrockandroll.com, and you can email us at prisonersofrockandroll@gmail.com. And as we said at the top of the show, we are sponsored by McCusker's Tavern in Philadelphia. We're live at McCusker's Tavern in Philadelphia, and we are very proud members of the Pantheon Podcast Network. So we will circle up. We'll figure out what we're going to talk about next, and we will be back in 2 weeks.
Thanks, everybody, for coming out tonight. Love you guys.
Keep on rocking. Peace out.
I'm just a prisoner.